Touch appears on your timeline, spreading love, feeling so divine. Tune in, don't miss a single drop. Unwrap joy till the beat stops.
What's up, Team No T, and welcome back to Unwrap. It's your girl Tosh, and I am meeting you right back here at the intersection where pop culture meets common sense for day 3 of our 12 days of sitcom Christmas. This episode today is going to be covering the Parkers. The Parkers, Season 3, Episode 11. I'm going to put this up here to remind you what we're looking for in each episode. And now let's get in to the episode. In this episode, we find Nikki, who was played by Monique early in her career. She is preparing for her traditional Christmas tree trimming party, which is an annual thing. So, just the fact that this is an annual thing makes the rest of this episode kind of moot to me, because the fact that it's annual means that every one of these people in her life knew that this event was coming up, and they were choosing to do other things on that day. So, for instance, Nikki's daughter Kim, played by Countess Vaughn, and her friends Stevie, who is the little white girl in the show, and T, who is the kind of dense black dude in the show, that's her little friend group, and they are deciding that they are going to skip the annual tree trimming party. They're going to go skiing instead. Now, mind you, for those of you who don't know, Kim is like maybe 20 years old. She and her mother are both college students. Her mother became a college student because she was a teenage parent to Kim, and she missed out on the opportunity to go to college then. So she picked up, after Kim started going to school, she picked up and decided she's going to go to school too. That's neither here nor there for this episode. This is just a little background on the characters. So Kim, T, and Stevie say, no, we're not going to the holiday trimming party. We're going skiing. So that upset Nikki, as any parent would be upset, because, this is something obviously or apparently they do every year. So she thought that this was just something that she could take for granted, that her daughter would be at the party. But now that her daughter ain't going, two other people that she's inviting are not coming either, and that's Stevie and T. But she feels like, okay, well, I'll still have Professor Ogilvy and my friend Andale. And this is like a very small tree trimming party. So Andale then shows up at the apartment. Andale shows up and tells her that, oh no, I'm going to Jamaica. Get me on some young things out there in Jamaica. I'm going to be catching rays out there on the beach in Jamaica during your Christmas tree trimming party. So now you've got 4 out of the 6 people that you would typically have at this tree trimming party not coming. So she has to convince Professor Ogilvy to come to this tree trimming party. And this is one of the things that I guess I really did not like about the Parkers, is the way Nikki Parker threw herself at Professor Ogilvy, and how repulsed he got by her advances. So she asked him, and he's pretty much like, there ain't a snowball's chance in hell that I'm going to be at your Christmas party. I ain't never came and I'm not coming. So now Nikki is aware that she's going to be spending Christmas by herself, trimming her own damn tree by herself. No Christmas party. But it's obvious and apparent that you're doing a Christmas tree trimming party, that you're getting closer and closer to Christmas. Even though I have no clue how close to Christmas we are, I don't know if this is like maybe a day or two before Christmas, or if this is the day before Christmas. But I do know that most black people are throwing that Christmas tree up right after Thanksgiving. So I'm like, why are we waiting so long, Nikki, to put up this Christmas tree? We usually do this shit a little bit earlier. But anywho, there are some black people who ain't gonna do that. But I'm talking like traditionally, right after Thanksgiving, that Christmas tree is going up. That Christmas tree is going to probably be up to about the 15th of January, but that might just be in my black household. Everybody has to get done with some last minute preparations for the things that they are doing for Christmas. One of those things is Nikki needs a new coat. So she's going to go down to the mall where Stevie, T, and Kim work. She's going to go get her a coat. Stevie, T, and Kim, they all have their last shift before they go on vacation at the mall. So they're all there. Nikki finds her way there. She's looking for a coat. When she gets there, she realizes that there's a drunk Santa Claus on the premises. And this drunk Santa Claus will not do. So she takes over for the drunk Santa Claus and works as Santa Claus for the whole shift. I don't know how nobody noticed this except for the security guard with the bad cough. It's a bad cough. It's a security guard. Black dude with a bad cough. But he is continuously trying to get people to get in the Christmas mood, to get more festive. We'll come back to him. Stevie, T, and Kim are counting down the minutes so that they can clock out and get ready to go on their ski trip. Professor Ogilvy shows up. He's shimmying on over to the negligee area because he's picking up a negligee and it ain't in Nikki's size. But of course, we knew it wasn't going to be in her size because he wants nothing to do with Nikki. And then Andale shows up also because she wants to get a new sarong to wear on her trip to Jamaica. All of them end up being at the mall until that thing shut down. They shut the mall down. Walter, the security guard with the bad cough, has orchestrated a point where all of them are meeting up in the back mirror window to do something different. Each one has a different task that has to be done at this point by coming to grips with the fact that Nikki is going to be doing Christmas by herself. And they all try to leave. They can't get out. The doors are locked. So T, remember T? He is a security guard at the mall, so you know he got a key. So he's like, let me use my key, magic key, open the door. Boom, boom, boom. Key don't work. They are locked in the mall together. And they say they get smart. So we're gonna pull an alarm. So T tries to pull the fire alarm. It does not work. So something supernatural must want to keep them in this store. And as they stayed in the store, they began to have fun. They began to indulge in some of the Christmas activities, singing Christmas carols, and giving gifts, even though they're giving gifts to one another that they can't walk out the store with because all of this stuff is just stuff in the store. But if I had the money and if I could purchase this right now, this is what I would get you for Christmas. They do a little gift exchange. And then suddenly some other security guard comes to the mall. I guess he's coming to check what is all this movement going on in the mall when we know the mall is supposed to be closed. So T explains that we're all still here because we got locked in. This other security guard was like, so why didn't you use your key? He's like, it just wasn't working. And the other security guard, Walter, he told all of us to come over into this area, and then suddenly the doors are locked. This security guard was like, ain't no Walter here. I kind of chuckled at the name Walter because that was my dad's name. So, Walter, the coffin, that dude with the bad cough, he the one that told us to come all back here. Suddenly, when we tried to leave, the doors were locked. And the other security guard was like, look, I've been working at this mall in the same damn job as a security guard for 20 damn years. And there ain't never been, nor will there ever be, no Walter. So, everybody is like kind of perplexed, like, what the hell? It was Walter. You saw him, right? Yeah, I saw him. Did you see him? I saw him. Yeah, I talked to him. So, all of these people know Walter existed. He just wasn't who he said he was. By the end of this episode, they all decided, you know what? It's not going to be Christmas if we don't spend it together. Even though we just got locked in this mall, and that might be enough togetherness for most people. I'm still going on my vacation. These people said, you know what? We need to be was sweet. It's a very sweet sentiment. It would not have happened in real Black America, but it was a really sweet sentiment. So they end up spending Christmas together, and when they get back to the house, Monique realizes there's a gift under her tree for her. She opens up that gift, and it is the coat that she was going to buy herself. The one reason she went to the mall that day was to pick up that coat. So somebody bought that coat for her outside the window. You hear the ho ho ho. You know we get some points for ho ho ho, right? We hear the ho 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 from Santa Claus, and we find out that Walter was actually Santa Claus, and he was fixing it so that this group of friends spent Christmas together instead of all going into the four winds and spending it alone. Yay, Christmas! Yay, Walter! So, we got our Black Santa Claus and we got our ho ho ho. We know those two things showed up in the episode. We got ho 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 like 3 times in this episode. We saw 2 black angels in this episode as well. We got, of course, the Christmas lesson is that Christmas and these holidays are about families and friends. So there was a point, and I don't know why I wrote this down. There was a point in this episode where Stevie said they didn't do too much for Christmas when she was younger, but Stevie is from a rich family. Stevie's people got money. So I'm like, was they Jehovah's Witnesses? Why did they not do Christmas? I don't understand people who have that silver spoon in their mouth and they just don't go all out for Christmas, especially when you got kids around. I think that is like the big thing for me. If money were no object, this apartment would be Santa's playland, for these kids. So that just kind of stuck with me and I wrote it down. I guess, that kind of bothered me that the girl didn't have Christmas when she was younger. She was experiencing a lot of that with her friends. Let's get to the fashion. So we didn't hear no music. We didn't hear any of the Trinity. I expected to hear one of the songs of the Trinity in this episode. We didn't hear any songs from the Trinity. The fashion. The older women, Andale and Monique, and they're not by any means at this time, they're probably in their 30s. So they're not old, they're just older than the younger people in the cast. They dressed them kind of dumpy. I didn't like the way they presented these women. Because they were plus size women does not mean that they have to look dumpy, especially in your 30s, boo. Now, the younger girls, Kim and Stevie, baby, I saw so much stuff not only that I would wear, but I did wear. They had the stonewashed denim skirts that were kind of long. They kind of do the little mermaid thing at the bottom and have a high slit. I'm sure every woman of a certain age in the 90s, in the early 2000s, had that skirt or something like it. And Kim had it in one color, Stevie had it in another. They rocked it just like I would have rocked it. So the fashion on the younger people was on point. The fashion on the older women, and the older women was not that old. They could have done better in these episodes. Now, the hair, as far as hair, the older women had their hair going on. If you remember anything about the Parkers, Monique, as Nikki Parker, kept that hair beautiful. Beautiful. So those are the things that stood out to me as far as our elves on the shelves for this episode. So tell me if you have watched the Parkers Season 3, Episode 11, the one that was called Secret Santa. Have you watched it? And if you did, what did you think about it? Do you feel like me with the Parkers? The things that I remember the most is I watched it regularly, but I hated the way they portrayed Monique as this thirsty, larger woman because she's beautiful and any man would be lucky to have her, especially Professor Ogilvy. It's not like Professor Ogilvy was like Denzel fine. He was all right. If Professor Ogilvy was in the hood, he grew up on the blocks that I grew up on, I probably would have hollered at Professor Ogilvy, but he would have had to try to holler at me first. She's chasing Professor Ogilvy, and he has his running shoes on. You might as well call him Noah Lyles. That's how he is running away from Nikki Parker. If you watched it, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. While you're there, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications on, and like the video. Did I say like this video if you like this video? Yeah, like this video if you like this video. Yeah, so day 3 is in the books. I will see you tomorrow for day 4. And if you haven't noticed, my voice is sounding real bad, y'all. I'm coming down with something, but I'm going to try to push through this. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Day 4.
Tasha appears on your timeline, spreading love, feeling so divine. Tune in, don't miss a single drop. Unwrap joy till the